welcome to my channel, or welcome back if you watched any of my previous videos. My name is Brittany and I'm here to celebrate Black History Month. Happy Black History Month. And with that being said, today's video is sharing all of my favorite, I shouldn't say all of my favorite, some of my favorite Black owned brands. I'm ranging from like beauty to home to like fashion and kind of maybe a few things in between. So I want to caveat this by saying these brands are available to shop 365 days a year, not just the 28 days in February. So like remember that most of these, actually all these things that I'm sharing are just kind of like things that are like my go-tos and like part of my like normal routine. But I would encourage, if you are interested in like trying out any new products, maybe to like look to some Black owned brands. I think as to add to that, I feel like one thing that can get lost a lot of times in the conversation around Black owned brands is that they're not just for Black people to use. Like non-Black people should and can also support Black owned brands. I mean, obviously like there are some products like maybe like hair care, skin care that might be more specific to certain demographics because they're going to treat needs for you, especially because those gaps have existed in like hair care, skin care, beauty, things like that. But like Black owned fashion brands, like things like that, like anyone can support these brands, Black or not. So to kick us off, I'm going to start with, I feel like this is a brand most people are pretty familiar with. So one of my favorite brand, or I guess like just one of my favorite fashion brands right now in general, is Telfar, which again, like I said, I feel like Telfar now has become like pretty much like a household name. Is that what I'm trying to think of? Anyway, so Telfar, for anyone that doesn't know though, it is a brand that was launched originally in 2005 when the founder, Telfar Clemens, was in college actually. So he's like around, I think my age, like maybe like 35 or so, maybe a little bit older, maybe closer to 40 honestly. But anyway, he was in college at Pace University and just launched this brand like while he was in school. But then it really started to take off as far as like the shopping bags. So like these bags that I was just mentioning in popularity like around 2014. Well, that's when the first shopping bag launched, I should say. And then I feel like I didn't really get hip to Telfar until like 2019, maybe even 2020, like right before the pandemic. And they were just like so hard to come by. And honestly, I heard about it from my little sister who was in college at the time. And like, obviously the young kids know about everything cool. Or I thought it was just really interesting because it's this, so he's Black, Liberian American designer that launched this brand. And it's like a very simple design. And his idea behind the brand was making inclusive, like making brands that are like considered designer brands more inclusive. Because I mean, most designer brands are not very inclusive. Like they're very price prohibitive. They lock a lot of people out based on price. And I mean, these bags start around like $100. I think $150 maybe is like the small bags. And there's couple different sizes, small, medium, and large. So I have 3 of the small ones and 1 medium one. Like I said, I'm a little bit hooked now. But the kicker behind Telfar is that they're so hard to come by. And that's really like the scarcity model really is like what made them like boom and become like really big, I feel like, on social media. Basically, you can only get a bag like when they do launches. So they would be like, oh, we're doing a yellow launch or whatever, a yellow drop this week. So it'd be like on Tuesdays at 9 a.m. the like launch goes live, and they would sell out, I swear, in like 5-10 seconds. It's like you got to get on, buy it, and then that's it, and it's only available then. But they started doing a couple years ago, and this is when I finally was able to like get bags. They started doing the bag security program. The bag security program works, if you're not familiar with it, is it's still for a short period of time. I feel like it's usually a couple of days, but it's basically like bag security. I think it's usually 36 hours, maybe 48 hours, and you can go online like on the website and buy any size, any color shopping bag. And you just have to wait though, like it can be 3 to 6 months before you actually get it, because then they like make them to order. So that's how I've pretty much managed to get bags that I want and the colors that I want. So, but I mean, like I said, Telfar is taking off now. Its nickname is like the Bushwick Birkin, like Bushwick Brooklyn. What did Beyonce say about Telfar on Renaissance? Put the Birkins in storage, Telfar is imported. So it's really getting the seal of approval from anyone. So Telfar, 12 out of 10 would recommend. I think they actually just launched some wallets and a couple other like new items. And I will say the resale value is crazy, I think, just because of like the exclusivity of it. So I've seen like Telfars on like Fashion File and The Real and stuff selling for like $400, $500, $600, which is way more than they cost like at retail value. So if you're trying to make an investment too, a Telfar could be good. So you're investing in yourself and a Black owned business. Another fashion brand that I've kind of, or I guess I'll say a wearable that I've really been into lately that's Black owned is Two Collective. I am obsessed with my Two Collective robe by Alexis Barber. So Alexis Barber is a TikToker. That's like where I found her. I've been following her for maybe like a year or two now. She's pretty young. She works at Google or YouTube and launched this business like during the pandemic. I think it's really because she said she loves robes so much, which I also love robes, so I can appreciate that. And so she just basically wanted to create like the perfect robe. And she did. So if you've watched any of my previous videos, everyone on my channel, which I mean there aren't that many, I have worn the Two Collective robe, and just about everyone. I got it, I want to say around Christmas time, the Christmas sale or a Black Friday sale maybe. And I feel like I have to wash it like twice a week because I'm just like always wearing it. It's like getting dirty just from like me wearing it all day long, or I'll be like it's just like sometimes like lay on the couch in my robe or whatever. But it is truly the perfect robe. So 12 out of 10 recommend getting it. I mean, it's pricey, but it's worth the money, I feel like. So that's one of my favorites right now. I also kind of want to share in each of these categories too, brands that I have not tried yet, but like are on my list. So in terms of like the fashion, like wearable world, Brandon Blackwood, who's another essentially bag or accessories designer, is a brand. I've never bought anything from Brandon Blackwood. I look at the bags all the time and I don't know why I've never bought one, but I really want to try or buy a Brandon Blackwood bag sometime soon. So again, he's another like Black owned accessories handbag designer. And then another brand I've really been wanting to try that I think I found them on TikTok or Instagram. They actually went on Shark Tank and did not get a deal, and now they've like become like pretty big business, is Ken Apparel. So they make like hoodies, hats, like just different things like that. Basically things that go on your head, but they're satin lined on the inside. So like the inside of the hoodie will have like a satin line, baseball caps, like beanies, things like that, which that's like a market no one's really tapped into because, I mean, if you like, especially Black people, I guess people with textured hair, if you have like curly hair, you know that like a lot of times putting on, like I never wear beanies eggs, they don't fit on my head, but also they're so scratchy and drying to my hair. So the addition of basically having like that satin line in there, like, or that satin lining in there, like that would make all the difference. So I haven't bought anything yet from Ken Apparel, but it's definitely on my list. So moving on to like my next category, which is kind of like, I'll just actually combine two categories into one because it's a little bit easier that way. So I'll just say like beauty in general, instead of like, I was gonna kind of do like a skincare versus hair versus makeup, but like beauty products in general. I also am kind of a beauty product junkie. But I also have brands that I really, really love too. So I'll start with hair first. So if you watch my wash day video, you heard me talk about how much I love like Sienna Naturals products and like their hair product or their hair care line of like shampoos, conditioners, stylers, all of that. So I've been a huge fan of Sienna Naturals for basically since they launched. So this brand was founded by Hannah Diop is her last name, I think, and Issa Rae is a co-founder, and Issa Rae is how I found out about it because I love Issa Rae. So I think I saw Issa Rae like post an Instagram story about Sienna Naturals, and I literally just bought a whole like kit because I was like, oh, if Issa's using it, like, and I love her, she's so fun. And like the skit that she did, or just the stories that she was doing with it were so funny, it sold me. And I think I was kind of on the market for new products anyway, and I've been loving them since then. And that was, I want to say that was in 2020, and they were still pretty new then because you could only buy it online. It like wasn't available in stores. Now it's available in Target. The one thing I really loved about Sienna Naturals is, like I said, I feel like I kind of started buying products pretty early on into the process. I've been able to be a part of a couple different focus groups, and I honestly, they just like reached out to me and were like, oh, would you be interested in talking with us on this day at this time about like your experience, your hair experience, whatever. And I mean, I don't know if it was just because I had been a frequent buyer since like the beginning, but it was cool to like be a part of that and like just listen and hear from the brand about, and like they took everyone's feedback very seriously. And some of the stuff we talked about in the focus groups I've seen like implemented with the brand. So it's cool that they really use their community and listen to their community. And even just in general, they like, there were people on the call that actually like were only a little bit familiar with Sienna Naturals, had maybe only used one product. And then there were people like me who I was like, oh, I use pretty much everything. It was just like, and it was cool to just talk with other, I think they all were Black, yeah, other Black women about hair and hair care and like your hair journey. So it was just like a really cool I want to say fellowship, but that sounds like a little intense talking about hair, but it was basically. So like to me, that like made me even more like loyal to the brand. But like I said, black owned, female owned. And as for hair care, I really do like to like buy stuff from black owned brands because I know that they're like considering, or in general, considering things that are important to me. And like black hair care is such a market, or such a segment that was like left out of most beauty markets, honestly, until a few years ago. So it's like I want to support brands that I know are supporting me. Also, the products they're vegan, they're plant-based, all of the packaging is recyclable. So it's like, okay, we're doing good too, because obviously you need to buy hair care, but it's like I want to buy it in the most ethical way as possible. So again, huge fan of Sienna Naturals. Another brand that you probably heard me, if you watch my wash day video, talk about is Briogeo. Oh, you can barely see this. The sun's a little too bright today. Briogeo. I love Briogeo, and I feel like a lot of people actually don't know that Briogeo is black owned because the owner isn't very front facing, and because they do make products for such a wide variety of hair types. So I use like a lot from the Curl Charisma line, and then I think it's like the Don't Despair something. It's like a red and pink label, and it's for like anti-frizz. But I mean, I feel like it's very rare for brands to make products for basically all hair types across the spectrum and do it well, but somehow they've managed to. So I've really, anything I've tried from Briogeo, I've never had like a bad experience with, and even all of the reviews for products I feel like are really good. And so again, it's like clean products, like free of sulfates, all of that. I don't think it's plant-based, but like vegan, like it doesn't have any of the bad stuff in it. So again, another product definitely recommend. And then a product or a line I'm still new to trying, but I've been really liking so far is Audra. It's like a hair milk, like a leave-in conditioner spray type of thing. Just like I like to use it to refresh my hair. I've used like one of the curl creams, a hair oil. So I really, really like Audra, or I think I'm really liking it. Like I said, I'm not quite as loyal as like I am to Sienna Naturals, but I'm really starting to like Audra. So like I said, I'm a little bit of a product junkie, and I'm always willing to try something new. But there are still hair like products that I haven't tried, like in the hair care or brands that I haven't tried within the hair care realm. So one brand I've really like, this is basically next on my list to try once I run out of my current Sienna Naturals shampoo and conditioner, is Bread Beauty Supply. I have actually used the Bread Beauty Supply I think it's called the hair glossing oil, which I really, really loved. I really liked that. I really want to use the shampoo and conditioner, and I just haven't bought it because I've had kind of a lot of backstock on accident of Sienna Naturals, and I don't want to have too much of just too much product sitting around. So I feel like I've been following Bread Beauty Supply on Instagram for a while and like on social media, and they too seem very engaged with their community and just like are always reaching out and trying to, I feel like, provide the best products. So again, I'm like really engaged and into that too, but they also make all of their products are clean too. So that's like another hair care brand that I want to try. Oh, and another one I really want to try too is Camille Rose, which I think is sold at Target and like Sally Beauty Supply, things like that. I've never tried it, but I've been seeing a lot of people post about it like in hair tutorials on TikTok. So I don't know exactly like which products I would want to try. That's something I want to look a little bit more into, but that is on my list as well. So in more of the like skin and makeup space, a couple other brands that I really like are Case Skin, which this brand just launched, I want to say it was last year. And Winnie Harlow, the supermodel that has vitiligo, she is the founder of the brand, and also she's like a lot of the face of the brand too. But they make a lot of SPF products, which again, as a person, I feel like if you have any kind of melanin in your skin, it's really hard to find skincare products that work well and don't leave like a white cast on your skin. And I actually used this sunscreen this morning before I put my makeup on, and it does give, like, I've worn it a lot though in the summer without any makeup because it does give a little bit of like a shimmer almost, but I feel like it serves as like a good primer too. But they have a lot of body products, so they have like body wash, body lotions, things like that. They have a sunscreen lip balm that I really like because those usually do not taste good, but this one is like vanilla and has like a really good consistency, and I think it's SPF, I want to say 45, maybe 35, but I really, really like it. So that's a brand I would definitely recommend. A beauty brand that I really, really love, or a makeup brand that I've really, really been loving since I found out, or since I discovered it maybe like a year or so ago, is LYS Beauty. So I've been using the LYS Beauty bronzer and highlighter. I really, really love this bronzer. Like I'm actually like, like running through it. But I'd been using the Fenty Beauty bronzer for a while and I liked that, but then once I really started like paying attention to like ingredients and products, a lot of the Fenty Beauty products like have talc in them, and it's essentially like poisonous. So I was like, okay, let me find some other options. So I found LYS, and this bronzer and the highlighter both are about the same price. I want to say they're $18. So they're not very expensive. And when I was like, oh, and it's Black owned, it's a clean product, I'm sold. And I will say too, as a Black person, again, I feel like anyone with melanin in your skin, it's really hard to find bronzers that are the right coloring. A lot of them can be like ashy looking or just like a little too yellow or just like not good. And this one I actually used today too, but it's like the perfect coloring and like makes me look bronzed and alive, but not like, it's just not too harsh. And I really like the highlighter too. So LYS Beauty is another brand that I've really been loving. And then another brand, this just came to mind as I'm sitting here, another makeup brand that is like an OG in the makeup game is Fashion Fair. So let me actually go see. I think I did recently buy some Fashion Fair products. So let me go back, grab those. Okay, so I don't have any Fashion Fair products on hand, although I am pretty confident that I just bought some Fashion Fair lipsticks a couple months ago, and I know I haven't used them like all the way through. But anyway, so I'll probably find them in like a random purse somewhere. Fashion Fair is the OG in Black beauty. Fashion Fair is actually the first makeup brand that I ever wore. So it actually launched in Chicago, which I didn't realize until, so Sephora like co-produced a movie with another production company called The Beauty of Blackness. It's a really great documentary film on HBO Max that I would recommend watching without a doubt, like whenever you have a chance. But it was essentially like a large part of the documentary was following like the relaunch of Fashion Fair cosmetics, and that's when I learned that Fashion Fair actually launched here in Chicago. So I mean, it literally was, I want to say it was like the 60s or 70s when they launched. They were the only brand that made makeup for Black women. And like, that's what my mom wore, that's what my grandma wore. So when I was in high school, and also keep in mind, like I'm 34, so I was in high school in the early 2000s. There literally still weren't really any other Black makeup brands that had good products for Black people. Like Maybelline, like all those drugstore ones. Like I remember trying a couple of foundations because they were inexpensive. The color match was terrible. It like made me look gray, like dead. Like it was, and a lot of them I would be the darkest skin tone. And not that I'm pretty darker skin in general, but I should never be the darkest skin tone offered by any brand. So it just like still wasn't a great space, and that was the early 2000s. So I started wearing Fashion Fair makeup. I think like the pressed powder was like the first makeup that I ever wore, and like the color, it truly is perfect. And like my mom had been wearing Fashion Fair for like 20 years, so we would go to like the makeup counter at Dillard's or Elder Beerman, meet with her Fashion Fair lady, like get whatever the products were. And then Fashion Fair did eventually end up going out of business in maybe like less than 10 years ago. They ended up going out of business, and now they're like relaunching. And I think that what they're having a little bit of a hard time with is like reconnecting with young people, because people that are younger than I am probably don't know anything about Fashion Fair, or they think of their grandmas using Fashion Fair, whereas really like they are this like heritage brand in the Black beauty space. So they've relaunched, like they're sold at Sephora now and on fashionfair.com, but they do have really good products. Like my mom was so excited too. I think that's like also what's really cool is like when it relaunched, like seeing people like my mom be excited to like have like a brand that means a lot to them, like still be in this space and making good products. So I think a lot of their products are like vegan based now, so they've taken some of the like bad stuff out of it. And I know they just launched a blush duo, which I'm kind of curious to try too. So Fashion Fair is another brand that I love, I think just because it like holds like a sentimental place in my heart. Another brand in like the skin and makeup space that I haven't tried, which actually I'm about to try soon because I ordered it the other day, is Topicals. So Topicals is like Black owned. Obviously, I don't know why I keep saying that when that's like literally the whole basis of this video, but it's a skincare line that just launched, I want to say a couple years ago, and I'm pretty sure that the founder of it, she's still in college or she just graduated, but it is a skincare line, especially I think there's two founders. So there's a Black woman and then another woman of color, and they launched initially to help basically make products for problems that they were facing with on their skin that they weren't finding help with from any other brand. So like hyperpigmentation, things like that. So what I just ordered I can't remember what the name of the product is, but it's like it's basically for hyperpigmentation and skin brightening, because I have been getting a little bit of hyperpigmentation, especially in the winter when like my skin's looking a little fair, and any breakouts that I have, like they're really like the scars or whatever, the hyperpigmentation is really obvious. So that's a brand I'm really excited to try. So I'll report back if I do love it. But the last category that I want to talk about in terms of Black-owned brands is home products. So a Black-owned brand in the home space that I personally am a 20 out of 10 a fan of is Sabai Design, and they actually made this couch that I have. So I love this couch. I'll include like a bigger like photo of it here so you can see a little bit more detail, but it is like, when I found that this brand existed, this product existed, I was so excited to buy it. So Sabai Design was founded by two women, one being Black and another woman of color, and all of their products, so it's a furniture company, and they've slowly expanded. Like they really just started with making a couch, now they have sectionals, tables, all of this stuff, and they expanded pretty quickly. But all of their products are sustainable. So they're all made with recycled materials, which is really, really cool. But they also are a really cool design. Like they look cool, and they're also pretty much made to order. So there's no like waste in their product or in their factories. So they're not just like churning out products and having it sit somewhere in a warehouse and then having to liquidate it or sell it off. So like that also makes them sustainable. But I love this couch, and I just love the story behind it of how like these women just founded this brand. And like I said, like the product is really cool. And another thing that I really, really like about it is the couches are modular. So you could, like, I mean, I have a sectional, but if I would have bought a couch, you can trade in your pieces. So if I decide in like a year, because I've had this for maybe like a year now, but if I decide, okay, I'm actually kind of over this, which is typical of me, but I think this couch I'm going to keep for a while, I could sell it back to them, get a credit for it, and buy something else on the website. Or you can just buy like a replacement, you can buy replacements for any part of the couch, which I feel like is kind of hard these days in the furniture space. You can also buy replacements for the color or the material of your couch. So you could basically swap it out and get something else. So I just really like the whole business model and the intent behind it. And I love my couch, and it's so cool. Like I never would have thought that I would get a couch this bright, but when I ordered the fabric swatches, because I used to have a white couch and I was just gonna order another white sectional, but when I got the fabric swatches and I saw like what they look like in person, I was like, oh, I gotta get this dusty rose like pink couch. And I get a lot of compliments on it. So, and it's like good quality, because sometimes you don't know when things are like made from recycled materials. Are they gonna stand up? Because if they don't, and you have to rebuy it, then it kind of defeats the purpose of it being sustainable. But this is really, really well made. So this is like, again, another brand that I love. A brand that I've been wanting to try in the home space is Forever Mood by Jackie Aina. It's like mostly candles. I don't know why, something else, I don't know why I haven't bought them. I bought them as gifts for other people, but I've never purchased them for myself. But I love candles, and I love Jackie Aina. Like she is the OG YouTuber, like she is the OG it girl, and I need to try it, so I need to buy it. But that is a recap of some of like Black-owned brands that are pretty big staples in my life right now, and things that I use often. So like I said at the top of the video, Black-owned brands exist 365 days a year, not just in the month of February. Obviously, it's always good to bring awareness to them, and I'm glad that we have Black History Month to do that. But you can buy them any other time. And so like I know I've mentioned before how I really want to shop. I want to be better about shopping very intentionally, or I've been trying to get better about it. Things like shopping small businesses, Black-owned brands, ethically sourced brands, like those are things that you can pay attention to when you are looking for products to buy or looking for new brands to try out. And like in the words of Issa Rae, I'm rooting for everybody Black all the time. So like, why not support a Black-owned brand when you can, especially when it's really good product. So thank you again for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe, and come back for more content. Thanks for watching.